This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis.
It's the Morning Majlis.
Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping the headlines. I'm Ahmed Daoud. Good morning, Ronnie. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing just great. Just reading the news. They got some interesting story there about the driving license thing. So if you pass your driving test in the UAE, now you can get a UK one without having to do the test there.
Exactly. That's awesome.
So we can move there now.
I mean, do we want to?
No, I love the UAE.
You love the UAE.
The UAE is
but that's
amazing.
a great privilege, though.
Yeah, if you want to move to the UK, things have gotten a little bit easier for you.
It's amazing. We always have like good news to spread with you, and we do have amazing news actually to spread with you. First of all, we are celebrating right now, or we are like in the midst of the Sharjah Children's Reading Festival that's going on right now until Saturday. So if you haven't been there, go. It's the 12th edition of the festival, and it takes place every day at Expo Center Sharjah from 4 p.m. until 10 p.m. Saturday, it will be from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. in fact. But another event that is so close to our hearts that is actually coming up in November of this year. It's going to be the Sharjah International Book Fair. And guess what? They already announced, the Sharjah Book Authority, they have announced that Spain will be the designated guest of honor for the 40th edition of the Sharjah International Book Fair for this year. It's the largest book fair in the region and one of the top 3 in the world, and it's definitely gearing up to welcome a host of Spanish publishers and authors to Sharjah. So we're going to talk about this milestone. How is this a big milestone for the SIBF, and what's on offer this year? We're going to give you all the heads up on all the what's expected of the fair this year. And also we're going to talk about big investments that have been sealed and made, especially when we're talking about Jeff Bezos' Amazon. Well, he's investing even more heavily in growing its position in the entertainment world because just now he struck a deal with MGM. He made a deal to acquire them. The MGM actually is the home of James Bond and one of the most iconic movie studios in Hollywood. And this deal is valued at $8.45 billion. What does this deal really entail? We're going to talk about this in just a few minutes.
Yeah, those mega media deals have been in the fore as of late. We've also had big mergers, big media conglomerates getting together as well. We'll talk about the future of streaming and movies and entertainment moving forward and their connection to tech companies as well. So stay tuned for that discussion. I've been getting texts about this giant moon, the total lunar eclipse.
Really? I didn't know about this.
It happened yesterday.
Really?
At 7 p.m. Yeah,
okay.
It happened yesterday at 7 p.m. The moon looked massive. It looked red. Unfortunately, I wasn't out, so I wanted to ask you if you got to see it.
No, I didn't.
Well, if you saw the moon...
Let's look it up.
The giant, big total lunar eclipse, it's called. Text us at 4215. We'd love to hear from you. And we're also going to be talking about what's happening with COVID-19 around the world.
Right.
We're going to be getting into the situation in India in particular. Why are cases spiking right now? What's the status of the Indian variant? And how is the government of India managing the situation so far? All of that will be discussed. Plus another update from the United States. We've had a mass shooting at a California transit facility. We'll give you all the latest on that as well. So if you'd like to join the conversations, our text lines are open at 4215. This is the Morning Majlis. Stay tuned. Here's No New Friends by LSD.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis.
It's the Morning Majlis.
Well, yesterday we talked about how fully vaccinated tourists from Gulf countries, they can return to Spain, thankfully, starting June 7th in their further loosening of their COVID-19 travel restrictions. So that was some delightful news for people or holiday makers that love to go to Spain, just like me. It's one of my favorite countries. In fact, it is my favorite country to visit. Another delightful news surrounding or revolving around Spain is that yesterday, this is just in, Sharjah Book Authority, they have announced that Spain is the designated guest of honor for the 40th edition of the Sharjah International Book Fair that is going to be taking place at Expo Center Sharjah this year in November, in fact. So this decision, it was actually announced at an official signing ceremony held virtually, and it was attended by His Excellency Ahmed bin Raqad Al-Amri, chairman of the Sharjah Book Authority, also the ambassador of Spain to the UAE, the Director General for Books, Ministry of Culture and Sports at Spain, also the Deputy Director General for Books and Ministry of Culture and Sports in Spain, and also the Deputy Head of Mission of Spain to the UAE, in addition to the General Coordinator of the Sharjah International Book Fair as well. So this was this was big news because let's not forget the Sharjah, the Sharjah International Book Fair. It happens to be the largest book fair in the region and just one of the top 3 in the world. So they're definitely gearing up to welcome a host of Spanish publishers and authors to Sharjah for a milestone edition of this year's fair. And it will offer visitors and global publishing fraternity definitely a unique opportunity to dive deeper into Spanish literature and culture, as well as its latest achievements in contemporary publishing.
Yeah, indeed. Very, very important event as well. And the two officials, Ahmed Al-Amri and Barth, they formalized their agreement and put the spotlight on the impact of the Sharjah International Book Fair. And according to Al-Amri, quote, the celebration of global cultures by offering SIBF's prestigious platform to authors and artists around the world is a reflection of the vision of His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Muhammad Al Qasmi, Supreme Council Member and ruler of Sharjah. He said it boosts cultural dialogue, brings people from different backgrounds together to learn more about each other. He said that he greatly looks forward to celebrating the unique aspects of Spanish culture here in the Emirate of Sharjah. That's typically the case when you have a delegation that is coming here as a guest of honor during the book fair. It's such an important cultural exchange. You get to see their books, you interact with their authors, you get a taste of their culture. They even put dances on in previous editions of the Sharjah International Book Fair. So Spain's set to be a massive contributor to the International Book Fair, which is an immensely popular event. I mean, even at the 2020 edition, which was held during COVID-19, at the height of it, in fact, there were so many people coming in, having a good time, talking about their love of books.
Absolutely, of course. And definitely, Spain is known for its history, for its rich history and literacy traditions as well, literary traditions. And we here in Sharjah in particular, we're very keen on literature and language and the written word and all of that. And the books, just books in general, where this is something, it's a big deal. That's why we were named the World Book Capital for the year of 2019 here in Sharjah. And it's funny that we're mentioning this because as we speak right now, the Abu Dhabi International Book Fair is actually taking place over there in the nation's capital. It has started on the 23rd of May and is going until the 29th of May. So for people who are living in Abu Dhabi, you can also go check out the International Book Fair that's taking place over there. It's a great place to be, and it's definitely, I mean, each year the fair has built on the late Sheikh Zayed's original vision to create an event that encourages cultural and educational exchange and also provides a meeting point for the publishing world to do business, as we do here, of course, in Sharjah. So we're definitely, until you wait until for the Sharjah International Book Fair to start on November, you can go check out the one in Abu Dhabi if you're there.
Yeah, you also have until Saturday to check out the Sharjah Children's Reading Festival as well. Plenty of books to be found there. It's a family event, not just targeting kids, and filled to the brim with amazing activities, events and sessions and webinars and such. So we'll be talking about that throughout the program this morning. So stay tuned as we discuss the stories shaping the headlines. But up next, we've got a massive business story. Amazon bought MGM, a mega media deal. MGM, the ones behind the Rocky franchise, James Bond. What is Amazon up to? Set to compete with the streaming and TV giants. What is that all about? Stay tuned for that discussion and much more on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
Reports of a mass shooting in the United States. A gunman opening fire yesterday morning at a public transit rail yard in San Jose, California, killing at least 8 co-workers and wounding at least one other person, according to Deputy Russell Davis of the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office. The gunman reportedly was an employee of the Valley Transportation Authority. He is now dead, according to the police. He's been identified as Sam Cassidy, and according to sources, and the mayor said that the gunman was no stranger to the people he shot. He said that it's clear the victims and all the colleagues knew the shooter very, very well.
Yeah, this is a terrible, terrible tragedy. Authorities, they reported this last night, American time, that there were about 40 people at the facility at the time the shootings occurred, and the gunfire erupted in two separate buildings. And police are saying that the shooter was an employee of the Valley Transportation Authority, which operates the light rail facility in Silicon Valley. And basically the shooting, as you said, Ahmed, it began around 6:30 a.m. local time in a facility that stores trains, and it serves as a transit control center. And the victims, they include employees of the facility. Now, in addition to the 9 that were dead reportedly, one victim is in critical condition at a local hospital. And according to a Santa Clara County supervisor, she said these folks were heroes during COVID-19. The buses never stopped running. VTA didn't stop running. They just kept at work. And now we're really calling on them to be heroes a second time to survive such a terrible, terrible tragedy. Now, plans were underway for a vigil at the San Jose City Hall on Thursday, last night.
Yeah.
Now, they're saying as well, the San Jose's mayor actually, in fact, is saying at a press briefing that these are the women and men who supported our community through this pandemic. They showed up to work every day as essential workers, despite risks to their own health. We owe them and their families so much, but for now, we need to focus on everything we can do to support these families and their loved ones as well. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom, who canceled another event to rush to the scene, described the gun violence in the U.S. as an epidemic. He said this happens again and again, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It begs the question, what the hell is going on here in America? He also spoke emotionally in front of a county office where flags flew at half staff. He said victims' relatives were waiting to hear from the coroner, waiting to hear from any of us, just desperate to find out if their brother, their son, their dad, their mom is still alive. Kamala Harris as well, the vice president and the former senator of California, she has also lamented the violence. She said transit workers, they have kept the traveling public safe this past year. We must do the same for them. Meanwhile, dozens of family members, they have also streamed into a reunification center set up in a county building, and they're just sitting and holding hands and crying, basically.
Yeah, and more details about the shooting emerging here. Cassidy's ex-wife spoke to news media and said that he often spoke angrily about work, about his coworkers, about his bosses, and at times directed his anger at her. He complained that some people had it easy at work while he got the harder tasks. So he was often described as someone who was more moody. But the alarming thing about the story is mass gun violence is pretty common in the United States. The United States has one of the highest firearm ownership in the world, and it's been escalating considerably as the U.S. emerged from the worst of COVID-19. And this is the latest in a string of deadly U.S. mass shootings. In fact, we've had 9 over the past 3 months.
Wow. This is really alarming. I mean, when is this going to come to an end?
Exactly. And it started out with a string of attacks at Atlanta area day spas. This happened in mid-March. It claimed 8 lives. And then a rampage days later killed 10 people at a Colorado supermarket. And last month, a former employee of a FedEx center shot 8 workers to death before taking his own life. And earlier this month as well, a man fatally shot his partner and 5 other people before taking his own life at a birthday party in Colorado. So It's definitely raising the alarm on gun ownership in the country.
Definitely. And also, we have a statement from the U.S. President Joe Biden. He called the incident a horrific tragedy, and he ordered flags to be flown at half-staff, as we said, saying in a statement that there are at least 8 families who will never be whole again. Once again, I urge Congress to take immediate action and heed the call of the American people, including the vast majority of gun owners, to help end this epidemic of gun violence in America, because every life that is taken by a bullet pierces the soul of our nation. We can and we must do more. Those were the words of U.S. President Joe Biden.
Yes, indeed. And we'll continue to follow this discussion and story. Text us at 4215 to share your thoughts on the matter. And stay tuned. We've got more stories coming up on the show. This is the Morning Majlis.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.